going to be successful as a black woman, you were either going to be a nurse or a teacher. And so she went into teaching. Her older sister was a nurse. So I always say that, you know, in honoring my parents and what they gave me, for my sister and I have an older sister and a younger sister, I always felt like we should, you know, a job is something, even though my parents loved being educators, a job is something that you when the alarm goes off, you know, you dread getting up, you pull yourself out, and you just kind of deal with it. A career really is an extension of yourself. It's who you are. So I just knew at an early age that I wanted to do something that I love, so it doesn't feel like working. And now I'm in Atlanta.
How do you like Atlanta?
I love Atlanta. It's a city I never told you this before, it's a city I've always wanted to get to. I felt like if I could get to Atlanta, I mean for years it would go by, a job would open up, I'd tell my agent, you know, hey, maybe I could have that job. Right when Monica announced she was retiring, I saw it in the trades, the industry trades, and I told my agent at the time, well, give me that job. And she said, well, I can't do that. I also represent Jovita. So I said, I said, okay. So I fired her. And the next day. And, you know, just kind of happened organically. This time I think I'm, you know, where I'm supposed to be, but I just knew if I could just get to Atlanta, I felt like I could do something here, you know, and great living. You know, I have a 6-year-old daughter. I just felt like this could be the best of both worlds. This could be everything.
You have this kind of amazing connection to want to impact people for the right reason. And I see that's the educator in you. I know now. Do you see your job in a way as educational?
I do, but not just in, you know, the things that we present. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Rashad. I feel like, and I've always felt this, if you're not learning every day on the job, I'm learning. I'm being educated by the story. I'm naturally curious. I feel like we're on the air so many hours. You can't fake that. It's not the movies. It's not a, you know, 2-hour drama. This is real life, real implications for real people, and they can see through that, you know, screen if you are fake or not. And so I feel like, yes, I'm learning with the viewer sometime, but, you know, it's, if you're doing a story and you're not teaching and you're not learning, why are you doing it?
You insert stuff.
I can't help
When
it.
you do the news, if y'all watch Sharon Reed, you know she'll be quick to insert something in the news. And at Clark Atlanta University, I lecture in ethics and journalism and advocacy journalism. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The game is different.
Yeah, it is.
Why do you feel that today you are comfortable enough to insert a little bit of humanity in the delivery of the news?
I don't think I'm special, but I do think I'm different in this regard. I decided a long time ago that I'm going to be me. And I know right from wrong. If a child has been brutally assaulted or murdered, I really don't care about the 1% out there who it offends. If you see me raise my eyebrow and go there, if people don't want real people giving them the news, then they can turn the business over to computers, but for now it's us. And I think that, you know, we have these journalism professors who would say, well, you have to be objective, and you have to, no, we don't. We don't have to be objective. What we have to be is fair.
Right.
And that's different. And I'm not going to sit there like a cold robot when someone's harmed a senior citizen or a child, and we all know right from wrong. When there's injustice and a black man shot in the back, and pretend that we don't see and feel and hear what's been presented. That's crazy. And so it's not that I'm trying, it's that it would be fake for me not to, and sometimes it's not the words, you know, as you say, I'm inserting. Some people will write me and say, I could tell, you know, it was in your tone. Sometimes it's, you know, the way you're looking through that lens. It's my way of saying, I'm with you, I see you, yep, I heard it too, you know?
There's a connection there.
Yeah.
There's a connection. The people that love you, they love you. They understand that connection. They appreciate your authenticity. Was that a development in your career, or did you start off that way?
I think I always was grounded in what is authentic, what is truth. And maybe it just started with the words, right? Because I like to think I was a good reporter. I didn't just want what everybody else had. I always wanted that like extra piece, that extra, I would just get on their nerves on the scene. I'm not gonna stop working the story because no matter if it was a fire or a murder or something even positive, I felt like, you know, these are, again, real people, real stories, and I felt an ownership of that. And so I think early on, it maybe was just, it manifests in the writing. You know, I love to write. As a reporter, obviously, I'd write my own stuff, I really get into it. And, you know, there's a difference between that reporter or anchor who's gonna, you know, write, you know, well, residents say, and, you know, a racial slur. Well, why don't you just give it to them straight? Who are residents? They're people, right? They're your neighbors. You know, racial slur, what did he say? The N-word, you know? And I think that people can appreciate that. It's not my job to sanitize it. You know, I argue with my colleagues all the time when we do stories and you think you're up here, right? And it's well-intentioned. They want to clean it up and they want you to, you know, we have to warn you, we don't want to give you this, it's too much for you to handle. Well, you know, it's been years since we've seen horrible footage with people in orange jumpsuits with their heads about to be cut off, Kim Kardashian's butt. I mean, we've seen, we get it, you know, this is reality, like it or not. And I just think that it's not your job to be crass, but it's our job to just say what it is. You know, you don't have to clean it up or call it insensitive remarks. It is what it is. You decide, but here's the raw truth.
You're a woman in the industry.
Yeah.
Every industry, not every, most industries are still male dominated. That's the classification of America.
You mean white male dominated?
White male dominated. Inserting again, right? White male dominated. This is true.
Yeah.
Even if you don't see the white male domination on the anchor desk, you see it behind the scenes with the corporation and everything else. So how has that interplayed with your career over time?
I think it's something that everybody in this room could probably relate to as I look around the room. Number one, I felt like it was my challenge that you never stop learning. I want to be the best. And that's just because I love the profession, but I want to be the best so that I have a seat at the table and sometimes I can kick the door in, so to speak. Even recently, you and I talk offline a lot, but you know, there's something going on at work or story, and I remember laying, you know, there's facts and then there's opinions. Okay, we can't really argue with facts. These are facts, and I laid it out there, and you know, two male counterparts. Well, that's interesting. Well, you know, of course I knew the facts better than they did, and the response was, well, you know, we do have this new guy, Thomas Roberts, who I really liked a lot from MSNBC, he's my new co-anchor, and they said, well, we'd sure like to know what Thomas thinks. So, I said, well, yeah, that's great. I'd like to know what Thomas thinks too, but whether Thomas weighs in or not, I have given you the facts, and I would hope that you would act on those facts.
Why do you think they made that push?
I think that when you're a woman, in any profession, when you're a black woman, maybe you have a little richer voice, it's viewed as shouting, it's viewed as angry. You're so angry all the time. It's not okay, and I think when I see it anywhere, whether it's in a story, anywhere, I check it. I can't help it, I have to check it. You know, when they write in the copy, police don't have much to go on. They're looking for a black man with dreadlocks. You can't say that. You can't say that, okay? they're afraid of the web department do it. Is he the murderer? Like, who did it? You can't indict every black man in the city. Plus, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't even help. If we're looking for a serial killer, and that's where we have to go, that's not even helping catch him.
But you push back.
I have to.
You push back.
I have
Sometimes
to.
what people don't see is that you will read a copy, and a copy is kind of written by a production team. You'll read something, and you will push back as the anchor and say,
Sure.
wait a minute,
Sure.
we can't say that.
Right. And again, it's my way of, I think we exist in this media bubble, right? There's some national cable channels that, I watch them just like everybody else, but sometimes they tick me off, and I can tell everybody's friends, and everybody lives within one block radius on the Upper East Side of New York, and they all think the same, and, it's kind of how certain people got elected, because you
Right.
can't think outside the bubble, and you don't talk to people who are not just like you. Everybody with a college degree, everybody, all those things are great, but you need to, one of the things I did try to pride myself on as a reporter is I can go and see and talk to anybody, white neighborhood, black neighborhood, upper crust, struggling, trying to make it, all that, because I had a genuine curiosity about people, and so it's my way of letting the viewer know, I'm with you, I heard it too, and it's not okay. We have these, implicit bias, and we're all guilty of it, I just think that as people of color, we have more experience on the other side of it, the receiving end, and so we see it clearly, and I think it's our job to figure out a way to go there, and I sometimes feel like, and maybe that's just, me being a victim, but I feel like, Atlanta's rare in that you have me, Sinead, Javita, you got all these systems, right? But that's not much when you're fighting this greater war, and some of it really is a war, as you know, what we present to you, right down to the, that's why I said we're not objective fair. You go into these story meetings, who are we to decide what we cover, what we leave out? That really weighs on me, it really does. And so I just think that it's a fight every day, and it's just one that I just, I can't help it. How many times do I say that to you, Rashad, when we talk about myself? I did this, I can't help it.
Media has never really been down the middle.
Right.
Because what you talked about just now is what happens in that newsroom where a decision is made, here's what we're going to talk about, and here's the part that we're going to leave out.
Right down to the angle.
Right down to that, right? But the way it's presented,
Right.
no one would get it. No one would really know that there was a bias in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So journalism, in a sense, has never really been straight down the middle.
Trump is right with the term fake news. Now, not what he's talking about, but there is fake news.
Yeah.
Okay? There is. And there's plenty of examples out there where it's coded, it's biased, and the worst part is I'd almost rather, and I don't want to say it quite like that because, when people die, that's not okay, but at least with a Klansman, I know what I'm getting there. Even if you're hooded and I can't see, nothing but your eyes. It's people who don't even understand the bias, don't even understand, because this is all they know, right? This is the way I've lived my life, this is my experience, and so it must be the only experience. And that's the tough fight every day, but it's one that is worthwhile, at what point, I just can't deliver copy. I saw him shot in the back by police. You were not threatened. And I can't deliver copy that tells the people at home, that they don't see what they see. I'll describe it. I think certain things should be played unedited, especially, during that safe harbor period where it's, after a certain time of night, before a certain time in the morning, where we're allowed to pretty much put on anything we want. We don't, but we were allowed to. I fight for that, instead of just sanitizing everything, because that's not the truth.
Let's talk about your unedited moments. You've had a few. What was your, before we get into that, I want to ask you your most difficult story. the one that stuck with
I mean, there's been probably a couple. One of the saddest ones was Officer Derek Owens in Cleveland. And I just believe you always challenge police. I don't dislike police. I just think that you're no better than the people that you police. You're no better, just like I'm no better than the people we cover. And sometimes on our worst days, some of the people, you know, that are in the headlines. I think police should be challenged. You know, it used to be a time where and I still fight, you know, with the people I work with every day, because they send us a press release and say, well, here's what happened, and he went for the gun, he was a cigarette. That's your story. That's what you say. I don't know if that's what happened. Two parties. I don't know who's a criminal or not. So I think you have to say it that way. But Officer Derek Owens in Cleveland, wonderful family man, two beautiful children. I still remember their names. This was years ago. Sydney and Chandler. And I remember covering his funeral and seeing these, you know, little black girl with her pigtails, he's gunned down, chasing a robbery suspect. And I still remember the little letters that they wrote and put in their daddy's casket. They were so young. You know, her picture, she drew a picture because I guess he did her hair. Mother was a nurse before school, and she said, my daddy loved me. And there's times where I still Google and I see like, how old are the kids now and what they're up to, and just, he was a great guy. I didn't even know him, but like, you know, you learn about people. And I remember fighting with the news director in Cleveland. It seemed like my whole career's a fight, because we had covered anytime a white officer was killed or injured, we covered it, we covered the funerals. And they said, well, we just don't have the resources, we're not gonna do it. And I said, well, we don't know. We are gonna cover this, you know. And so we ended up doing it live. So that was one. I remember early on in my career, I spent probably 24 to 48 hours with Snoop Dogg.
Snoop D-O-G.
Yeah. And remember Lady Rage? Remember her?
Yeah.
Right? I loved her with those costumes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I saw a lot. But I remember asking Snoop, you know, I was so curious, like, and he was at the height of everything.
What year are we talking?
Don't date me, Rashad. Just, you know, he was at the
Let's say in the 90s,
Chronic, all this
right,
stuff.
90s.
Pop was alive. Everybody was alive. And I remember saying to him, you know, I listened to his music. I knew every word, just like everybody else. And I remember saying, something just struck me, right? You know how he grew up. You know the things he'd been through. Had been on trial, escaped back. And I said to him, how come you never diss white people in your music? And it was just a question, you know, I wasn't advocating for it, but I wanted to know, how can you grow up the way you grew up and never, and he said the answer's simple. Because more white kids in the suburbs buy more music than anybody else. And the only thing they can't bounce to is if you're dissing them.
Thanks.
And so it hit me then, right? That hit me. Those stuff like the Chronic, Gin and Juice, all that stuff. But we'll never diss white people, that's why. It was a business.
How deep is that? Because obviously you can say the N-word and sell million
Right.
records to black folks,
Right.
right? So he understood the business model of his consumer relationship with white folks.
He understood it, and then a light bulb just went off every time I listened to whoever was the hottest at the time. I heard it again and again.
Wow.
What I didn't hear. And so that was interesting and eye-opening. Even when I covered sports, I don't really care about the X's and the O's. There's plenty of that. You go to ESPN or something. I wanted to know, and I always had sources, what's really going on in the locker room here? You know, Rasheed Wallace's eye is not black because he's got to fight with him. You know, so I just think at the end of the day, real people, real stories. You know, I did that body of art story in Cleveland. And that was a difficult one for me because, believe it or not, I'm a pretty shy woman personally. I don't go out, never really did. Don't drink, don't smoke, never do drugs. Not really that exhibitionist.
Explain to them the body of art.
So there was this artist, he's still around, Spencer Tunick is his name, and I don't know if you've heard of his work. He fought with Rudy Giuliani, went all the way to the Supreme Court in New York for the right, and he won. The Supreme Court, they sided with him. He fought for the right to do his art, he called it performance art, where he would take a sea of people who were stripped naked, go in the streets, art museum, famous sites around New York City mostly. And Rudy Giuliani at the time was the mayor of New York, I believe, fought him tooth and nail, said this is indecent, pornographic, lewd. And like I said, the Supreme Court sided with him. So his next one was going to be in Cleveland, and that's where I was at the time. And I remember working for Steve Dorr, who's now the news boss here. And every day I'd go in and, kind of just sit in his office and we'd talk about whatever's going on. And he'd say, hey, Spencer Tunick's here. We're going to have Dawn, this little reporter. She's going to cover it. And I said, well, you should
like I should threw that in. It's no.
Dawn. And I said, just kind of jokingly, I said, because I'm real big on this, I don't want to cover it like everybody else. With the same fake, this little stand up, I'll see the people here. And so I said, what you should do is, I really want to know why people do this. Do you want to do that? I don't want to do this nonsense. Why you soccer mom strip down naked and go in the street like this and act like it's like the most freeing thing ever? Why do they do it? So what you should do is have a reporter unapologetically go out there in the nude, and I want to do a first person story. Have him do it. So tell her to do that. And he said, well, would you do that? And I said, oh, wait. I said, I have to think about that. He said, well, think about it quick, because Spencer Tunick's in the building. He's going to do Nightline next. And maybe we do it. And I said, okay. And I think it was going to be, that was a Thursday. It was going to be a Saturday morning. So I said I'd do it, but I knew we had months before we ever see the light of day. I could always just change my mind, right? I had a good friend of mine, this female photographer. She went with me. And there were 3 installations. The first one was men and women together. Second one was all men. Third one was all women. I said, I'm not going along with the men. I don't even see this. I can't unsee what I saw by the way when I went there. What is this? But the reason I did it, and I can tell you, and back then I gained some weight with Sharon. I had a great body. I was good. But it wasn't about that. I didn't want to do it, but I knew I had to do it because I did believe this. Whether Sharon Reed wanted to do it or not, or Rashad Richey, or anybody in this room wanted to do it, he has a right to that freedom of speech, and he has a right to do that. And that was part 1. Unashamed, unapologetic, knowing that, there's a lot of great people in this industry, there's a lot of crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crabs. Knowing that would be ridiculed and all that, I felt like I needed to be brave about it and do what I felt was right. So I pulled myself together and I did the female version. Let's see butts. And
you got some folks Googling that right now.
They're going to see it.
I see you in the back.
That's okay. That's okay, because you know what? I just live in my truth. And I felt like I earned the respect of a lot of people who maybe didn't understand fully who I was.
Sure.
Before I had my daughter, I was very combative on the air. More so than now.
What?
like extremely
More so than
combative. And she really softened the edges. But once I did that piece, I got a lot of soccer moms, who understood it. You got some blowback too, but it was really overwhelmingly positive. And then when the crabs and barrel industry, went on the attack, I stood and defended that because I believed in it.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it on. So that was one that, was a challenge. And, being here, as long as these are authentic moments, I don't like contrived, I can't stand behind that, Things happen organically, people still point to that N-word that night.
We're going to talk about that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what I want to do, because there was another situation where the rumor came out, all right, that she had a love child with LeBron James, the basketball superstar. Okay? So before we go to that, you actually came. You came to V103. You sat down with my colleague Ryan Cameron, and you talked about it. We have some of that. Then we'll talk about it.
This is your life.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're warm about it.
where it's full of great people, but it's also full of crabs in a barrel who see you, and if they think you got something or you're the it girl, you're doing something, they want to bring that down. So I'm well aware of what it is. Do I know LeBron? No. Probably had more conversations with his, and by the way, when that rumor came out, he wasn't even married, whatever. Probably had more conversations with his now wife under the tunnel than him. It's trash, perpetuated by people who want it to be true. That said, if you want to believe that, I'm okay with that too.
We just said it's not true, though.
It's not true, but there's still there are going to be people listening right now who still think Sharon has a baby with LeBron James, right? That's a sexy thing for them to think. It's a way they think to put me down. I can think of worse things you could say about somebody than she has a baby with an international basketball star. If it's true, it's true. It's not, but I wouldn't even tear a woman down if that is true.
You get laid to a lot of people, though.
There's more out there. Hey, keep it coming. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Is there anybody else you want to ask me about, Ryan?
I've been linked to you.
Uh-oh.
That is not true either.
And that's not true, right? Before somebody goes out, right?
Yeah, that's not true either.
So, but this was a rumor, God knows from where, all right, that said you had a love child, and I know your daughter, a beautiful, smart, brilliant, don't look nothing like LeBron. I can tell you that now. So you had to fight that.
Yeah, and so, you know, when I had my daughter, I wasn't working. I was fortunate enough not have to work for about a year. You know, maybe it was 11 months that I was off, but I just had her, and maybe she was maybe 6 to 8 weeks old. I'm sitting at home nursing my daughter. I don't think I had the TV on or anything. You know, it is new babies in the house, and I'm just so tired. But I was with her. It was in the morning, and my phone just started blowing up. And some people from my former job were in Cleveland at the time. And I'm thinking, I ain't gonna pick up for her. But what is she calling for? You know, I just kept decline, and I'd go about my business. And then finally, I picked up our community affairs director because I was real close with her. Real tell it like it is. You know, remind me of my mama. And she said, Sharon, they get ready to put something out on you. And now, like, that's the quickest way. My friends know, like, please don't bring messy trash to me. I'm just not interested. Thank you. And it just like blew up into this thing, and I was so upset, uncharacteristically so, because you know, you say you don't care, but you really do. Normally when I say I don't care, I'm one of those rare people. I mean it. I'm gonna live my life. But this time, you know, I got my baby, I was all like, it messed me up, you know, so that went on for about 2 weeks where I was so upset. And then a light bulb went off and it just dawned on me like, this is so dumb. Somebody had a baby with LeBron, but it's not me. Why am I worried about her? So and once that clicked, like I really just like, I know I walk into a room of strangers who have heard the rumor and are probably like whispering and I don't even hear it. I don't even see it because I don't know that girl. Who is that? Who had the baby with LeBron? It's not me. And I know that sounds crazy, but once I got enough stuff of my own to own. Why would I own somebody else's? This is crazy, right? There's not enough hours in the day. So once that clicked, it was so freeing. And on the one hand, not a lot of people, you know, have the nerve, I guess, to like ask me to my face, you're my close friend, you know, I adore you. You can ask me anything. You know, I don't know Ryan quite as well, but I respected the fact that he just asked me, you know.
It took a lot of courage for him to ask you. He really didn't know. You know. Behind the scenes, he really didn't know if he was going to ask you.
Right.
And that's really about him not having the courage immediately.
Right, he was scared.
Yeah.
So you know, I just said, it's fine to talk about it. I resisted probably, having said that, you know, the light bulb went off and then I moved on with my life. I resisted talking about it, but I kind of probably did carry this chip on my shoulder, like, you know, I dare you to. I know what you're thinking, I dare you.
Say something you
right,
want
you know
to.
what I mean? Like, you know, like you carry that little attitude, so nobody dares, you know, they'll always say behind your back. So that was a freeing thing too, that it's okay to talk about that as well. And I meant what I said. If I had a baby or relationship with, first of all, I think it's not anyone's business. I think people like to label women all the time. I think it's so dirty. And so I did resist talking about it for that reason too. Like, what if it is true? Whose business, how is that your business to denigrate another person or a child, like that's crazy. Even if it was wrong or a mistake or someone was married, none of those things are good. But at the same time, there's no one in here who's not a human being, you know, and human beings, they grow, hopefully they learn, they become better people every day, we work on that. So I did resist for that reason too, but, you know, and for the longest time I wondered, I was so upset, I worry about my daughter, like, when my daughter reads that, you know, my daughter, someone pointed out to me, my daughter knows it, we're together all the time, my daughter knows exactly who her mother is, and she would probably be the first one to say, I'm gonna sue boring, my daughter doesn't know her, like, so she would know who her mother is, and once that clicked, that was a freeing thing as a mom, because, you know, I love her more than anything in the world.
She's a remarkable young lady. Till I said, hey, I haven't seen it. All right, so it's so interesting that the criticism, okay, that comes with leadership, period. You are an industry leader. And I say to my students, criticism is the price you pay for leadership. And the day you're unwilling to pay that price is the day you're no longer fit to lead anybody. Okay? So you get criticized, there's a lot of controversy. One of the great things is that you get a lot of praise too. I mean, you got people that are die-hard, Sharon Reed. I mean, they beg you to come back to Cleveland. I watch social media. They're mad at people in Atlanta for taking you. Okay? So that has to be reassuring, right?
I mean, I appreciate them. Sometimes people say, oh, when you go out to the grocery store, people, doesn't that get old? Because you know me, I don't like wear makeup and stuff. I'm not. It's just, I just let it all out. But no, it doesn't get old. Number one, I love people. You know, people say that. I really do love people, you know, and I think we're in a unique position. You know, we can help people. Mrs. Jones sends me an email saying, this is happening, Sharon. My landlord is doing this to me. I really think we don't own the airways. They belong to the people. We have a license, but they really belong to the people, so I take that seriously. And I always think, well, no, that doesn't bother me when somebody comes up to me. It would bother me if they didn't. A lot of times, because that means it's going to affect my livelihood, you know? The opposite would be terrible. Nobody knew you. Nobody watched. So no, that part doesn't get old. And I do think that, you know, obviously I agree you're on to something when it comes to criticism. Doesn't mean I'm always right. Obviously, I make a lot of mistakes and have regrets. But at the same time, I really do think that it's true. It's not just a saying to make people feel better. If nobody's talking about you, nobody cares.
That's right.
And that hurts in there.
That's a worse designation than.
Sure, I want to make a difference. I want to try, you know, to matter. And, you know, I think that a lot of times in the media, we have this like self-serving, goofy thing. You know, they want us to put these slogans that we're advocating for you. And I think I'm good with anything. I can sell, baby. But what I tell them all the time is, don't bring me something to sell that is rotten. It is true. If we are advocating for Mrs. Jones, then you better have the goods here, okay? Don't tell me we're doing a story about, you know, police killing unarmed black men, and it's really just a police perspective about how difficult it is for them to do their jobs. That may be a component of it. But we need to talk to real people and get some real perspective here, no matter how it looks, no matter who doesn't like it or who doesn't look good. And you know that, you know, you and I have many political conversations.
Yeah.
You know, I won't say which way I lean, but I think people could probably imagine. But that doesn't mean that if I don't agree, because again, just like I think we work on behalf of the viewers, Mayor McMahon works on behalf of the constituents, not the people at City Hall, okay? Not lifelong friends, none of that. And I can like someone and vote for someone and say, no.
But something's not right here.
Something's not right.
One of the most authentic moments I've ever seen on television was with you and a viewer. You and I were at the studio earlier that day. I talked a little bit about race. you talked more about race. I left the studio and something happened.
Yeah, I forgot. You started all of that. I forgot that's how it started.
It started, right?
Yes.
That's how it started. So let's play the clip and we'll talk about this very authentic moment. That landed you on Comedy Central and everywhere else.
You know, I like that.
Okay, so me understanding behind the scenes, it seemed as if the producers were reluctant to put that on.
And they're good people, and that producer has since moved on, but I loved him. Great guy, but he made me so angry, Rashad, with that.
That's what
That's
the
what
problem was.
happened, okay? And why, and again, safe harbor, you know, that's a term that maybe your students will learn about more. We put it on the screen, that's what she just said, right? And I really did, and it happened so instinctively. You know, you got Alicia over there doing her little social media thing, so there's only about 45 seconds.
Right.
I happened to check my email, and I saw that come up. And my adrenaline, now you got me heated, right? And I probably wasn't having the best day anyway, but I said, here I go. I didn't even tell him, right? I didn't tell Blondie that
So
I
wait
was
a
doing
minute.
this.
Ben Swan was like,
Right.
what is
He
going
loved
on?
controversy anyway, so I knew he could roll with it.
Sure.
So I sent the producer, I think I sent the EP, a top line, that they call it, which right there saying, put this on. And I forwarded it to him. He said, okay, you know. And so they put it on, and so yes, it made me a little bit hot that they blurred it out, but whatever. But in an instant, I swear to you, as a black woman, as a black person, I had the same reaction anybody in this room would have.
Yeah.
I saw it as a beautiful opportunity. Here we go. I'm gonna show everybody at home. There's people who look like me who get it and will say, yep, because this is what's happening to us out there. And there's people at home who have the luxury, the privilege to not even understand the greater world is out there. And I'm going to show them too, this is a gift. And so that's really why I wanted to do it. Now I could barely hold it together. And as I was like just kind of just blowing the hot air and formulating the sentences, I'm surprised it even made sense. That's how much the adrenaline was pumping.
Is it just me that finds the irony of a person calling you racist and the N-word at the same time?
And you misspelled it. Thank you.
And misspelled it.
Right, but she exists. And I remember then there was like a battle, you know, obviously I felt like it went our way. But again, I think you don't do this and see, to me that was the right thing to do, and I was going to defend that, period.
Yeah.
It just happened that, you know, got picked up and other people said, yeah, this is wrong, you know.
How national did it go?
Gosh, everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I got calls from everybody. You know, the guys in the white shirts, again, this is not their experience, so, you know, they were nervous, and I'm probably belligerent about it. I took the email and posted it on my Facebook cover page, and I left it there with their email address and everything. She sent it to
Her
me, it's
name,
mine
her
now,
email
right?
address,
She sent
yeah.
it to me. And so, you know, they said, you know, they tried it a little lightly, but, you know, Steve would call me in, hey, how's it going? And, you know, people do that little conversation thing first, and then like, you know, 20 minutes later, so maybe take that down. And I said, no, I'm not gonna take it down. And he's like, oh, well, you know, they're like, there's, you know, other Kathy Rays. I said, and there's other Sharon Rays out there. So that's not their email address thing, I don't know to worry about, but I'm not taking it down. And so that went on for a little while, and then we got, I think, the first snowfall, you know, and then I decided, I changed my cover to that. But it was important to me, like, you know, that, again, good people, you know, don't always do the right things, but you have to open yourself up to somebody else's experience. If the first thing out of your mouth is, I can't believe you said the N-word, instead of, I can't believe someone would speak to my employee this way. I can't believe that was your concern. And so I felt like I wanted to go the distance with that. That's what you should have said. Not take that down and you're worried about some other Kathy Ray that didn't say it. What about me? What about me? And all the other people this is happening to.
The offense.
So that's why I was just so, felt like indignant about it.
She has to be back on television at 9, okay? So, we're cutting it close.
They don't even know how to walk in there. What time is
It's almost 8.
Okay, yeah.
All right, it's right at 8.
8:52.
Okay, so
Let's
let's do this. We want to give you a little more time than that. All right. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I want to make sure we take a few questions from the audience. They have to be limited, and then we got to get Sharon out of here back on television. If you got a question, let's hear it. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Call me Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon.
Call him Dr. Richey. It's
No,
okay.
When you see, I came from a certain generation by the grave up here, so
Hey.
it's hard for me to say Miss or Doctor. Very formal. But anyway, thank you so much for being here.
It's my honor.
Question, and this is for both you guys, if you want to answer this in reference to aspiring in your career. You know, oh, thank you. My name is Tim, by the way. Tim Noble. There's an undertone in any career that to climb the ladder of success, you have to know somebody, right? Many times you hear that, you know, you can't get there just a lot of times on your own merit. But I'm just curious, did you get, or both of you, climb your ladder in your careers, of course, with your God-given talent, like all of us have, but did a network help, or did you just fall your way, or was it a combination thereof? You understand the question?
I think it's a great question. You know, I would argue with my colleagues about something else, affirmative action. Because you sit up here talking about it kept you out of school, you know, a black person took this job from you. And I would say to them, that's not affirmative action. You're affirmative action. You're affirmative action. Because your parents do so-and-so, you had a leg up for like 200 years. That's affirmative action. That's what it is. Okay, not the other way around. So, how I got my first job, it was strange. I graduated from Georgetown, and 2 weeks later I started at Northwestern University. I got great journalism school. And it was going to be a 1-year accelerated master. And before it was up, there was this nationwide surge Inside Edition. There was a sister show created as a softer sell. They were going to sell it as an hour block. Inside Edition with Bill O'Reilly at the time, Blowhard, and then a soft. the woman, this little blonde, did the American Journal, right? And
Right.
They wanted some college kids to kind of go MTV-ish. So I come out of college and they did this nationwide search. They sent like the flyers to all colleges. I sent in some material that was just garbage, and I got a call. They said, well, we narrowed down to 2,000, you made that. And then maybe a couple weeks went by, they said, we narrowed to 100, you on that, 50, you on that. And finally said, we're gonna bring the 10 finalists to New York, and you're that. At the same time, I had this job offer from Shreveport, Louisiana, and they were gonna pay me $16,000 a year, 16, and give me like $2,000 for clothes. And my mom was like, you better take that job. Because she already said, why are you going, what is this TV? So we don't know anything about it. You better go work at a bank. I said, no, not gonna do it, mommy. And so I went to New York and I did the interview. It was terrible. It was terrible. I knew. I came home, I told my mom, my stepdad. My stepdad was like, yeah, you didn't get that job. I can tell you that right now. Time went on, they called, they said, you got the job. My stepdad was like, come on, how did you get that job? So that's how I got that one. But to answer your question, I don't want to say everything's about race, but race is in everything. I just don't think no matter how big you get in this industry or any industry, that when you are a person of color, that you have this huge network to draw upon. This is not true. If you were at Lauer and doing all that dirt that we all knew about the industry, you would have been, what? You would have been up out of there, okay? If you would just whistle at somebody, you would be up out of there. So it's so important to me now. It's why I love you so much.
I love you back.
Because it's real, you help, there's no BS with you. And it's important to me that when young journalists, I just came back from National Association of Black Journalists Conference, so they come up to you, about the clap back and that kind of thing. But it's important to me that if I can ever help, including like internally, I do that. I have a lot of great colleagues, white, black, whatever. But I do think because everybody's had the same experience. Everybody went to school, everybody kind of grew up the same. Even, people of color, and I don't think that's what about the people you cover. That's why you say some of the things you say, because you don't have a connection with people. You believe the police account because that's the way you grew up. You didn't grow up. I was on the front lines in Ferguson. And I can't imagine, can you imagine, maybe people in this room had that experience, where every day you couldn't even walk to the bus stop without being picked up by police, spending time in jail. That's how bad it was. So you don't. And my colleagues in St. Louis would say, oh, I don't understand why are they shutting down the freeway? I don't understand what they want. They don't understand what they want. They want a little fraction of what you have. It's called a decent life.
Yeah.
And so I just think that when you are in these positions that are really privileged, it's a privilege, not a right. Too many people look at this as a right. I look at these cable channels where they'll sit up here and they'll talk about Trump and how racist and this and that. Well, look at you. Look at you. How come she keeps getting opportunity after opportunity and is stumbling through every sentence? Those kind of things matter, and that's a reality that we have to face. And so that's a way of, giving it back to them. We need the best and the brightest. Really? So.
And best is always subjective.
You got it.
It's always subjective.
You got it.
One story that many of you may not know, the one for Sharon Reed, I wouldn't be at CBS 46 News. So she fought hard for me. Now, you guys all listen to me on radio, so you know how I am, right? And she said, Rashad, we need that authenticity on television. I said, you sure? Right? And they had me do some stuff on Colin Kaepernick and a few other people. And there have been moments where Sharon has taken me to the side. And Sharon worked hard. Sharon really stopped for me to get at CBS 46, and now I'm a fixture there. I'm thankful, very
He
thankful.
makes our 6 o'clock show and usually contributes 3 or 4 exclusives a day sometimes, okay? What will we do about it? Why would we have to fight for that, right? We should be like in a bidding war. That's what should really be happening. That's just the truth, hardest working man out there.
But that's part of that network, right? And brother, to your question, it's always both. It's always both. It's about who you know, and it's also about your talent, right? Because you can get in places based on relationship, but you can't stay in those places without the talent, right? They'll figure you out if you don't have the talent. Let's do another question. Yes, right here and then back there. Yes.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you.
I have a little voice, but I'll keep talking.
Sure.
I first want to just say that the story that was shared a few minutes ago, my husband said to me, there's something that you've got to see what just happened. Sharon Reed, and I'm like, Sharon Reed, I know that name. Well, when he showed me, I want you to know, from that moment on, I was a believer. I was in your corner all the way. Thank you for what you do every day. We're native Atlantans, my girlfriend and I, and we've seen a lot of changes here. And we know that we've had some really great Black females who have been anchors and news people. Rashad just said earlier that in leadership, there's transactional and transformative things that occur. Can you share with us, with the climate of what's going on in today, what's transformative for you and continually transforming?
Do you mean the greater daily consumption of, say, politics and Trump? Do you mean Atlanta specific?
Really a combination of both. Because with Trump impacting what's going on in Atlanta, and Atlanta constantly changing since you've been here.
So you're trying to say what has changed her? What experiences have changed you personally?
Exactly, personally for you.
Atlanta's everything I thought it would be, but the longer I'm here and the more communities I visit, and it's like my mission now to go to a ton of Black churches. I want to start doing that because I feel like that's where you get the real.
Yeah.
So Atlanta's terrific. And when I first came here, I was like, oh, there's just everything here. There's growth. There's money. The housing market's off the charts. And then I started to notice and really wrap my heart around the real Atlanta and the real people who may be being left behind. Right? You got so many people, this is Black Mecca, they're moving here, other people are moving here, everybody's flourishing. Is everybody flourishing? Right? When we talk about what's hot, what's the next property I can buy, well, what about Ms. Jones, who, that's her, shouldn't she get rich off this? Shouldn't she be able to stay in her community? She put in the blood, sweat, tears all these years, you know? So those kind of things, I think my thinking has changed as I learn more about this city, as I learn more about the history here and some of the things that went, and like Rashad's great, you know, he's the go-to guy. And I go, well, what about this? And Shirley Franklin, her and Casino get along, why? You know? Those things help me, it shapes, you know, so I understand, you know, what went down was fair, contextual things. I don't know if I answered your question, but I transform every day, but I'm like learning every day. So it changes every day.
Well said. And that's why it's important to keep voices like this on television. Y'all give a round of applause.